Now, bringing this full circle, the seventh and final big problem I see with this whole idolization of virginity is within marriage. And what I mean by that is sometimes if we put it on such a pedestal that it can actually lead, from couples that I've talked to, actual feelings of anxiety or a frigidity in marriage, because the focus of the gift becomes like that one-time experience on the wedding night rather than like the exchange of the gift of persons. And so the wedding night becomes like the moment of truth that has to be kind of like mythically perfect. And if I'm not a virgin, then it can't be what it was supposed to be. And if I am a virgin, well, like this is the night of my life. And some might even, if they've so focused on virginity equals innocence, that if they're actually losing their virginity on their wedding night, is there a loss of innocence? And so that can kind of create some confusion. I've read of some bloggers who are, experiencing that. I remember reading one guy who was a musician, and this is a quote he said, "Life in Lubbock, Texas taught me two things. One is that God loves you and you're going to burn in hell. The other is that sex is the most awful, filthy thing on earth, and so you should save it for someone you love." And so I had to laugh at that. But I mean, imagine how many kids didn't maybe get the best chastity education and thought, okay, sex is dirty, sex is bad, sex is, it makes you tainted. Okay, you're married, have at it. Okay, now I get to give this thing that's dirty to the person I love more than anybody. So maybe speak to, how the idolization of virginity can create issues as we're entering into marriage.
Yeah, I love that. I also think, there's an attitude of, if I save my virginity for marriage, the reward for that will be, a blissful, perfect wedding night or blissful, perfect married sex for the rest of my life, right? And we don't have those realistic expectations about what sex with another human being is. And as somebody who's engaged, I've encountered the ease of like thinking that, where you're like, oh yeah, I've been good, so therefore, and that's just not realistic. Like, you should look forward to married life with this person, which includes sex, which is something you should learn and something that is beautiful, but it's learned. It's not this reward for preserving virginity, and it's not going to be Hollywood because you preserved your virginity. But I think I've heard of, I've known some friends who have experienced that fear and that frigidity in marriage, but I've also heard from some medical professionals that this is something they encounter a lot, is that women have to end up coming to seek medical help or like psychological help to give their virginity to their spouse. And I think the term there is really important, is that they haven't been told they're giving something, they've been told they're losing something, right? So if we're told like, don't lose your virginity, right? Hold on to it, hold on tight, white knuckle it, like don't lose it. We can't psychologically change that narrative, like just because we have two rings on our finger. I think if we place the emphasis on this, this is a gift, and give it freely and give it well in your marriage. Like I think that's where we have to change. It's just our terminology is focus on this of, this is a gift because you are, and you can give it freely in this context. It's not you're losing a part of you, or you're losing your identity, or you're losing your innocence. I've even seen this portrayed in like a TV show where the main character was like so focused on being a virgin, and like that was like her thing, and then when she gives it away, she's like upset and she's kind of traumatized. And I think I was kind of appreciative of that show portraying that reality. Obviously the answer that the show poses is to be sexually liberated prior to marriage, which I don't think is the answer, but I thought they made a good point of we can't hinge our identity on this, especially as women.
Yeah, no, I think you're giving the right answer, because like, as the world said, you don't want to end in marriage and be sexually inexperienced and not know what to do. So you got to get out and experience the stuff so you won't be so frigid. But I mean, and they say, look, a lot of people are getting married and then, having sex in marriage finally, and then they're disappointed and they end up getting divorced because they're not experienced. But look, the numbers don't bear that out. I mean, people who get married as virgins actually have a divorce rate that's about 70% lower than people who choose not to wait until marriage. Now, it doesn't mean you're doomed to have a horrible marriage if you've lost your virginity, but the statistics are strongly on the side of the church on this topic. You can look it up. It's extremely clear, but we've just got to be careful, like you said, not to preach some sexual prosperity gospel. That like, if you just save this, man, it is going to be an endlessly ecstatic, blissful sexual experience throughout your marriage. But like, it doesn't work like that, and we can't make those false promises. Sometimes you'll even have issues where, the guy gets married, the girl But he's been looking at porn and all kinds of stuff, and he's thinking, well, hey, I was a virgin, but you're not a virgin. It's like, wait a minute, you're bringing into our marriage all these memories you have of other guys. And she meant back, what about those like 10,000 women you've been looking at on your internet? Like, well, that's two-dimensional women. That doesn't count. They're not three-dimensional. It's like, and so there's other issues that could be really at play here. And so also if we're expecting like the wedding night to be like the moment of truth, study after study show like the most satisfying sexual times in marriage is not within the first year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10. It's typically decades into marriage where you really learn to love each other. And so you don't want to overemphasize the first night of like everything's got to get figured out, all the technique. I mean, you're going to have a lifetime to figure it out. And look, if you don't get it right the first time, all right, try again later. You know, I mean, is that the worst that could happen? Like, and so, but like you said, sometimes people do need to receive counseling for this stuff. Sometimes there's issues going on for any number of legitimate reasons. And so couples should not be afraid to seek out Catholic sex therapists that can be able to talk with them through these things. If you just go to catholictherapists.com, you can look for a therapist in your area, see one who's trained in this topic, and they can help you. Because some are going to give bad advice, obviously, that aren't rooted in Catholic theology and morality. But if you can find a good one, there's no need to bottle this stuff up. I mean, this stuff needs to come to the surface so you can have the intimacy I think that you deserve. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that little clip, but if you want to see the whole episode where this came from, just click the link here. And in the meantime, we want to invite you to help us share this message, and there's a couple things you can do real quick. Number one, if you like or comment or share this video, YouTube will actually show it to more people. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. We release videos every single day, and you'll be notified as soon as those come out. If you want to help us also to spread this message, you can support us at patreon.com/Jason Evert. That helps us to create these videos and show them to the whole world. God bless.